What's up, everybody? This is Strings and Sweaters. My name is Tim, and today we are going to be going over the playoff matchups, and I'll be giving you my prediction for the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm so excited. We wait all year for this time, and it is going to be here tomorrow. So let's get into our first matchup. I got my Leafs jersey on. Now, the jerseys I'll be wearing for each of these matchups will not indicate who I think is going to win. I just don't have every team, and I'm just going to wear the team I have. And some of them I don't even have. Like, I don't have a Devils or a Rangers jersey, so don't know what I'll wear for that. But got my Leafs jersey on. Doesn't necessarily mean I think the Leafs are going to beat the Lightning, but let's talk about the Lightning versus the Maple Leafs. So, the Maple Leafs have had an amazing season. Austin Matthews has had a great season again. Mitch Marner, 99 points, almost 100 points this season. Just insane productivity. This game will be in Toronto. So the Leafs already have a little bit of an advantage. But obviously, there is that looming cloud that is just over Toronto City of every year you're exiting the playoffs in the first round, and what's going on? Why are your players not showing up in the postseason? But let's talk about some things to note. First of all, the most important thing to me, the goalies. It's going to be, Vasilevsky, who is just amazing every year. Probably the best postseason goalie we've ever seen. Shesterkin is probably the only guy who kind of gives him a run for his money, but Vasilevsky is just lights out every year for the Lightning. And then you have Samsonov, and being near DC and going to tons of Capitals games last year, I got to see Samsonov in action. He's legit. He's a great goalie. Is he going to win you a game against a high-scoring offense? No, but he's way better of an option than Matt Murray is. And I think he will get the Leafs a few games in this series. The Leafs acquired O'Reilly from the Blues, which he's been a great addition to that team. So they're really bulking up for this playoff run. I see them, actually being a huge challenge for the Lightning this year. Do they win? I don't know. Let's look on the other side of the ice. We have just insanely talented offensive players. You have Stamkos, you have Kucherov, and the Lightning's game plan here is really on its defense. So they know they have the goalie, they know they have the high offensive scoring, but they also need that hard-hitting defense. And they added some guys like Ruda from the Penguins. And unfortunately, he got injured, as well as some other guys they added in the trade acquisition. But they're trying to get guys on defense who are just going to go in there and just blue collar hit people and make them really think about the next time they go into the corner of the ice or in front of the net, and kind of just try to deter the other team and wear them down. And they have guys like Lafferty for that. So that's their game plan, and that is actually a great game plan that will work well against the Leafs, because the Leafs are soft. I got to see the Capitals play the Leafs, and the Leafs play a lot of, kind of pretty hockey, very light hockey, sort of similar to the Penguins' play style. They have great goal scorers, but they don't hit too much. And the Lightning, if that's their game plan, I'm thinking that they will sort of have the advantage in home games. But let's talk about it. So the Leafs had the advantage here based on their standings. So they will be playing more home games, which gives them that advantage on the bench too, with changing lines closer for two periods. So this is actually going to be a pretty close one. My prediction for this matchup is going to be to the Lightning, because I think they match up better against the Leafs, but I do think the Leafs will give the Lightning a much better run for their money than last year and not just be a sweep. So I'm going to say that this game goes to 7 games. The Lightning win it in Game 7 in Toronto. But we will see. Tomorrow, Game 1, I think I actually have the Leafs winning that game. But I think the Lightning will kind of catch their stride throughout this series. But we'll check in and see what happens and what it looks like after tomorrow's game. But let's move on to our next matchup. We got the Bruins versus the Panthers. And I'm going to change jerseys real quick and be back. All right, so let's talk about our next matchup. We got the Panthers versus the Bruins. I'm very salty about this because this could have been my Penguins versus the Bruins. Not that it would have mattered. The Bruins are unstoppable this year. Really just one of the best seasons we've ever seen from a franchise. Just insane. But the Bruins are facing some injury problems going into the postseason. You don't want to see that. So we have Marchand with basically kind of like a light injury. They won't really tell us what happened, but just kind of a precaution where he's not practicing. But the worst one is we have Patrice Bergeron leaving with an upper body injury. Really bad news. Now he's probably going to come back. I know players will play on injuries in the postseason and just play through it. So he will probably be back within this series for the Panthers, but I don't expect him to play tomorrow. But I mean, really, the Bruins. I think the Bruins really their team is just stacked. Even with those guys out, they are stacked from their top line to their fourth. Their goalies are stacked. Allmark has just been insane this year, and they have great coaching. What they've been doing there has been just really incredible. And you're going up against a Panthers team that did beat them twice in the regular season. So the Panthers can beat the Bruins. They will not get home ice advantage, and the Panthers will also be sort of coming in. I wouldn't say they were hot at the end of the season, being that they lost a few games and almost allowed the Penguins to get in, even though the Penguins were just playing like trash. I'm going to stop talking about the Penguins for the rest of the video because they are not in the playoffs. But I wouldn't say the Panthers are necessarily hot. But the Panthers have Kachuk, right? And they really are going to have to pull around him and his offensive and just leadership. And I think that will be the key. This series, though, it depends really on the injuries. The Panthers don't have amazing goaltending, so I think both teams will be scoring. But I'm going to say this series will be kind of tight. I do have the Bruins winning this. I really do believe in the Bruins. I think they are just kind of that unbeatable team of the playoffs this year. Not to give any of my later playoff predictions away, but I think the Bruins will win this series. I think this series will go to, I'm going to say it'll go to 5 games. So it won't be, a full sweep, but I think the Panthers win one of these games, if not the first game, the second one, and I will say the Bruins just kind of start to light up the Panthers net, and the Panthers aren't really going to be able to respond once they get going. And I think it's just going to be par for the course that we've seen all season. The Bruins are just going to dominate. So this will be probably the one that I pay least attention to because I just think the Bruins are definitely going to get past the Panthers. But if there is an upset tomorrow, I'm going to be watching more closely. For sure, but that's all I got for now. Let me know what you think about the Bruins and the injuries. Do you think that's going to really affect the Bruins? Or, I mean, they're just so stacked. The depth's insane. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you think the Bruins are going to have problems against the Panthers? Or do you think it's just going to be an easy sweep? Anyhow, moving on to our next matchup. I'm going to change jerseys. I'll be back in a sec. All right, I'm back. Next matchup, we have the Carolina Hurricanes versus the New York Islanders. And this is going to be in Raleigh, North Carolina. So let's look at this matchup. This is going to be one of the hardest decisions because these teams are so evenly matched. And this is going to be one of the more exciting series of all the series to watch. So I'll definitely be watching this one. But let's start with the Carolina Hurricanes. So they acquired Brent Burns. So this guy's old. But in the playoffs, being old is not bad. Getting through the season, having no injuries and being able to, keep your body healthy, that's where we care about age. But when you get into the playoffs, all that wisdom and being able to lead those young guys and kind of be a role model for them, that is a huge plus. So already, Carolina is looking great with Brent Burns being their leader. And then just amazing just goalie play all season from Carolina. Now, the two things about these teams that make them so similar is that they've both been amazing on the power play kill and awful on the power play. So really, penalties and stuff will not affect these teams too much. So what's going to be the real way to make this decision? What's going to be the real difference maker for these teams? Both have very high scoring offenses. The Hurricanes have just had amazing goaltending from Ranta and Frederik Andersen, and really they'll be switching them back and forth per game depending on how they go. They'll probably go with Ranta since he's, a little bit more experienced, but I mean, really, who knows who they'll start? And then on the other side of the ice, you have the Islanders, and you have Sorokin, who has just had one of the best seasons you could have as a goalie, other than Allmark on the Bruins. But just literally having just an amazing save percentage, and so what is really going to be the difference maker in these games? And I think it's just going to come down to the leaders on the team and the offensive players. I think you have guys like Barzal coming back. You have Anders Lee, and they're gonna match up with Aho, and it's just like, this series is just so difficult to figure out where it's gonna go. Now the Canes just have looked better altogether, just defensively, and just all together a better team, more depth than the Islanders, but really, just who knows how these teams are going to match up. Some X factors for this game are 100% going to be Bo Horvat. The Islanders acquired him with the playoff run in mind, which was a great decision. They made the playoffs. He brought them to that level where they needed to be. But will he continue that, that elevation into the playoffs? I mean, he definitely has that ability. So what we will see if that trade, how much benefit they get from it, and how much is it going to come down to the Islanders stars like Barzal, and who is going to be the one to step up to get them these wins. These teams are just so evenly matched that both sides actually have a player named Sebastian Aho. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't know how to make this pick. I could clearly just go with the team with the better standings and just say, yeah, the Carolina Hurricanes are going to win this, but really, who knows? I wish I could just do a skip on this one, but I got to give my prediction. So I am gonna do that. I'm gonna go with the safe pick, so I look good in the future. But we'll come back around and do a little update and see how this series goes. But I'm gonna say Carolina Hurricanes win it in 6 games. Okay, I'm back. I'm wearing a Blackhawks jersey, and I have a Blues jersey, so you'd think we'd be talking about a West Coast matchup, but we're not on the West Coast yet. We're talking about the Rangers versus the Devils. one of the other best matchups that we are going to see in this 2023 playoff. Just real quick, Jonathan Taves, RIP. Very sad news to hear that he's not going to be on the Blackhawks or retire. Anyhow, okay, let's get into this Rangers matchup. I think, we have the most, probably the most, exciting goalie in this matchup. You have Shesterkin. I can't even say his name. You have why can't I say his name? Igor Shesterkin. I say his name fine all the time, but apparently when the video's rolling, I can't say his name. Igor Shesterkin. Anyhow, one of the best young goalies that we have seen in recent years. This dude is lights out in the playoffs as well. I mean, the Rangers just had their way with my Penguins last year, and they're really good. But on the other side, you have the Devils, and the Devils have an amazing offense. Hughes has just been lights out this year. I actually got to see the Devils play the Penguins in person this year. I might have seen the Devils play the Capitals too. So I think I saw the Devils play live in person twice this year, and they're legit. I mean, they have a great defense, and they're really fast on offense. They have a really some fast forwards that when they get on the breakaway, they make their shots and they make you pay. And so the Devils goalie is going to be Vanacek, which again, ex-Capitals goalie. I saw Vanacek play a ton of times. He is really good when he's on and really not good when he's not on. So really that's going to be kind of the iffy thing about the Devils. And the Rangers have such great, offensive players like Fox and Panarin and Penguins. Or not Penguins. What's his name? Charlie? No, not Charlie. Zibanejad. They have Zibanejad. So I just think it's a joke. I think he looks like Charlie. Anyhow, insider joke if you know what I'm talking about. But I mean, really just the offense on the Rangers is insane. And then you have Igor Shesterkin behind it, so it's just an unstoppable force. I don't care what the standings are. The Devils have looked great this year, but I think the Rangers are going to win this series. They have it all. They have the depth. They have what it needs to take to get to the next round. I'm going Rangers in 6 games. This is the end of the video. Let me know your playoff predictions. I'm actually going to post also a full playoff bracket at the end of this video just so you guys to check out, just to kind of show you what I'm thinking and just so I have bragging rights if it does happen. But I'm not going to talk about that just because that would be a whole nother video, but you guys can check it out. And give me, if you can figure out how, just put it in the comments. Give me your full playoff bracket. If you don't want to put that in the comments, definitely check me out on Instagram. My username is Tim the Knee. And send me a DM there of your screenshotted bracket you made. I'd love to see them. Love to see what you guys are thinking. I love how people can get creative with their brackets, and I try to not let any of my biases really affect my picks. Just try to go, with a scientific approach and just look at, stats. But, you can really not be unbiased. But anyhow, thank you guys for watching. This is a long video. Please subscribe. Please like. But thank you guys so much for watching my videos. It means a lot to me. Peace out, y'all.